Yes, we're live. We're live, and there are so many holes that need to be plugged. We brought in a third party, so you can tell. You can tell how much the need is there. See, and even he's whistling.
Yep.
We have the most promiscuous of time travelers with us today, Mr. Kyle.
Cheers to everybody out there. I hope everybody's having a great morning wherever you are, depending on time zones. So
I don't know about you, Iggy, but I think Kyle is taking this seriously because he's got a collared shirt on.
Yeah.
It's just did you pitch this as like a business proposal to
but
him?
no undershirt.
Okay, all right.
And I'm wearing shorts.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
You know, didn't you get the script for today's show? But Kyle didn't send it to you, Nick?
No, I mean, who am I in this whole thing? I'm just the one who hits the intro. That's it.
I don't script out this kind of stuff, but yeah, everything else is scripted. There we go. Just got the notification. All right, so everybody should be getting the same notification. Welcome in, Hey Las Cruces, New Mexico. Absolutely.
James is always there in the beginning. The state just next to me. I should be over there traveling just to see him, but if I just make a left, keep going, probably 10 or 12 hours, I'll probably be there and still not close enough to him. So,
well, it depends. Do you have any holes that you need to be filled in New Mexico?
Oh, there's actually a big, and we were there last year, and my highlight of the trip was going to try to fill a hole there called Carlsbad Caverns.
Oh, cool! Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a pretty awesome time, but this was still around COVID time, so they were limiting the number of tickets.
You also had to get it was like reservations essentially.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the Carlsbad Caverns the place in which the legend of Bad Boy originates?
Maybe.
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But the thing is, it was like I said, it was COVID time. They only sold 1,000 tickets.
Jeez. Okay.
And the box office opened at 8 a.m. We went there the day before, right around lunchtime. They said, "Well, be here early because tickets go fast." And I hear people were lining up at 4 a.m. to get them.
Oh, shit.
Jeez. Okay.
Was there a screening of Star Wars inside?
No.
There had to be something.
I kind of wish there was. So I was like, 4 a.m. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. to do that. So
that.
And it was up my way of thinking up until the point where my son goes, "Well, Dad, this entire trip and our enjoyment rests up to you. It belongs to you. It's up to you."
Shit.
And mind you, he's 10 at this time, 9, 10 at this time. And I'm like,
Dad, I'm gonna pull on your strings and make you feel responsible more than you already feel.
Yeah, that's some next level
manipulation. Hey.
I guess things start young.
Yep, I got up at 4 a.m. By the time I got to the place, it was 4:30, and I was 25th in line.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, that's good.
But the problem also was it was 42 degrees, and I didn't bring any winter clothes with me.
Were you wearing like shorts and a t-shirt or something?
I had pretty much put every single piece of clothing on and put a blanket on and wrap myself in that for the next 3 hours.
Wow, were you alone?
I was alone because nobody else was getting up at that time in the morning. And honestly, if they did, I didn't want to hear them complain about it. So,
well, my only question is, did they sell out like that morning, like right when they opened?
They sold out later that morning. I think
so
by the time they actually opened up, they were sold out.
Jeez. Okay.
Wow.
And honestly, it was a fantastic time. The place was awesome. It was like 1,000 feet under the surface, and 2 or 3 miles long, and it just really was awesome.
Is it bad that I kind of like it that there's like those kind of restrictions because it makes those places more enjoyable? There's like the people that go through Zion.
Mm-hmm.
there's this video that I saw, and it's like of them like doing a courageous hike through it, and there's just them, and then their photographer behind them, and then the photographer turns around, and there's like 50 people behind them, and it's like what you put yourself out there as versus the actual reality of the situation, and there's I don't know, there's some solitude, or there's some what's the word for like you're like happy when you're like in solitude?
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment. That works for me. Cool.
I
I was trying to figure out something like more prophetic. But yeah, that's where I was going.
Speaking of enjoyment, let's hit the intro and we'll say hello to some people.
Cool.
Okay.
How you doing?
Yeah! Yeah!
Happened with these, and I do not know what the grade is yet, so we are going to find out together. Most likely a 9.8, but man, fingers crossed that it hits one of those higher numbers as well. So let's see. You get to see before I do. Let's see. Oh, yes! Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Yes!
You about to get plugged.
I'm going to tell you first and foremost that I get that feeling, the same feeling when Mark saw Iggy's face. That's whenever I hear it from this guy, that's the way I feel.
I bring you joy.
You do. Speaking of bringing me joy, and you.
Oh, wow, Kyle.
Hello.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I would say, wherefore art thou my captain, but that doesn't really fit into this. Brian, LCS. I know he's deep into CBCAs right now, trying to figure out everything.
Never heard of him.
Good luck with that. Dale.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Dale.
What's up,
Greetings
Dale?
and salutations, gents and
King
chaps.
of the Instagram Reels, Mr. Serpent.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Hello. And
Hey.
He
now,
has some good reels.
now it's a party because Chop and Drop.
Chop and drop.
I kind of get the same feeling when I see Austin LeMay around because this guy just goes above and beyond every single time. And I haven't seen him a lot lately, but whenever he does make his presence known, it's always very welcome. So, hello, Mr. Austin.
Austin. Oh, some amazing sketch cover, sketch cover I saw from Austin on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to give it this one adjective, and this adjective does not put it nearly as close as how great that cover was, and that adjective is woof. Woofa.
Woof.
Woofa.
You need to catch your breath.
Dracula.
Oh, so
Yeah,
well, hey, how are you, Drake? Sorry, I was thinking, and while the intro was playing, I did some Bing search, as Tyler would say, and apparently the legend, the myth of Bad Boy originates in the Carlsbad Caverns.
Yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Why'd you use Bing?
Bing is the only,
Maybe.
the only one. Speaking of myth legends,
Hey, Biggie.
you know what? Biggie,
I didn't know Bing existed and still until Tyler mentioned it, so I don't use it now.
Yeah. Ever since I saw the first basketball video Biggie put up, he goes shoot around in the park. Whenever I shoot around, like today, I was doing this with my son. I was like, I wonder what Biggie's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Wow.
I'm trying to prepare for hopefully the eventuality where I get to meet that dude, and then summarily challenge him to a one-on-one.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
so there's some backstory there. All
A
right.
little bit of backstory. It's completely
Okay, Biggie.
on my part, but
Randomly throughout the day, Biggie, Nick is thinking about you and challenging you to a 1v1.
So,
I'm just gonna bring my A game.
what say you, Biggie Shack?
Let's just get yeah. See what would Biggie do?
Just killing his meds for his road trips.
And well, I think we're pretty much caught up. But there was something that Drac said over Instagram this past couple days, and he was at Terrificon. He met a few of the community finally. He came down from his coffin in Canada. He said Javon Jordan called him something, but he never mentioned what it was. So, Drac, if you want to share that, that would be great. My level of curiosity and wanting to know what that was is...
He's willing to side rail his own show to get this answer since you're here.
This has also been on my mind ever since he mentioned it. So
maybe if I know a little bit about how Drac thinks and his sense of humor, you're never gonna really know what Jovan Jordan told him.
hard pass. DJ can share it though.
All right. So last week we were discussing. We thought, we had opened it up to people who would want to come on, and Kyle. I think Iggy and I have been talking about having Kyle on for a while.
Indeed.
He had brought up the fact of, and Kyle, you can expand on this fact of advertising in comic books.
Oh, real fast. Ignacio. My nickname when I ran cross country in high school was Nacho.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Something about being very breakable.
Okay.
And also, I was rather fast, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with being a nacho.
Well, nachos are fast food and they're breakable, so it
there
fits.
we go.
Very apropos then.
But yeah, no,
Well,
instead of using my own platform to vent, I was happy that you're allowing me to use your platform to vent. And I wanted to talk a little bit about advertising in comics. And I'm hoping that it kind of just we could get some input from the chat, but when's the last time you seen a comic book advertisement that's not in comics? Have you ever come across one, a billboard or a YouTube ad saying, "Hey, issue 3"?
Yeah, once in my whole life, after a Whack Comics video with a Whack Hack, in which they, of course, Lee destroyed a Berserker #1, and then right after the finish of the video, the end of the video, I got the ad for Berserker.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never encountered one.
Just that once, never again, never another comic advertisement.
That's okay. So they're pushing that because there are certain books when I was working at the comic shop that they don't need advertisements. Saga being one of them.
Yeah.
Saga, literally people that I've never seen before just show up at the shop, pick up Saga and leave. Very polite, very kind. They only spend $2.99 because the book's still $2.99. But
yeah, that's crazy.
There's some serious cultures. Even what was that DC book? Soul Plumber. It was based on the Something Left podcast, and their whole podcast community showed up to buy
podcast on the left.
Yes, thank you very much. And their entire community showed up to buy it. Same with there's a D&D book. There's a bunch of D&D books.
The Critical Role box.
There's Critical Role. There's also Adventure Zone. And both of those have their cult followings, and both have graphic novels and comic series. I just I like it when the genres blend, but as for advertising, and your one Berserker stumble across, I've never stumbled across advertising.
Well, I saw in the chat, Flo said that the Batman did advertise the comic it was based on. Where did they advertise it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let us know where you actually saw it, Flo.
Because now that you mentioned this, Kyle, recently I have become aware of a comic book that has run an extremely successful crowdfunding campaign on their own website. I think the name is Isom. I don't really know exactly, and I don't want to give it publicity because it's I think it's a Comicsgate project.
Okay.
So, but so far, I think they have raised like $3 million
Wow.
for issue one.
No way.
But the caveat is this: the person that is releasing the comic has a YouTube channel with almost 500,000 followers.
Yeah.
So it's meant to happen, you know. If you have 500,000 followers and you do a crowdfunding, at least with an interaction of 1% of your followers, you're gonna get a lot of money. And if you have variants, add-ons, T-shirts, whatever merch you have, you're gonna raise a lot of money, and you don't need any, because I have been in the community for a lot of time, years by now, and I have not heard about this comic around the community because it's a CG comic, you know?
Yeah.
And so the community I'm part of doesn't do and doesn't promote and doesn't interact mostly with CG creators because it's a hate group. So I haven't heard about this. And then I got a recommendation, I think a YouTube recommendation, or I don't know how I became aware of this. And I was like, what? And at that point, they had raised $1 million on their first day. And you say, how does this happen? Because I haven't seen any ads. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. And I still haven't heard about this.
This is the first time I've heard of Comicsgate. I literally had to look them up. I had no idea they existed.
Really?
Well, I'm glad you didn't know, man.
Yeah,
because
much better.
Like, what? I didn't know there's gatekeeping in comics.
Yeah, it's a really deep well of really putrid shit.
Oh yeah, no, I personally have no interest. I've never heard of them. Like ever.
I'll put it this way: my interaction, the way I first learned about Comicsgate was last year around this time. We were having a Comics Curing Cancer 24-hour live stream for Chris Cardboard Crazy setup, and I guess the originator, did it start with EVS or did it start before EVS?
Yes, it started with EVS.
Ethan Van Skyer, one of my former favorite Green Lantern artists, happened his way onto this live stream and had the audacity to say, "Do you know who the real Cancer is?" And then he said, "The members of this panel, everybody involved in this live stream."
What?
So that's he wandered onto the live stream, and in the live chat, just like this, mentioned that
indeed
on a stream, raise money to donate to
I was there when it happened. I have no idea. Things just got like really awkward, and then he that was okay. So I encountered it and still didn't. I just don't give the light of day to that. I'm more about like intellectual conversation.
Yeah, but he's he has scammed some people with his projects, but he still has his YouTube, his platform basically. So basically, he's his own advertisement company. And you know, people get riled up behind anything that basically makes them feel anything.
Absolutely.
You know, Critical Role makes me feel good about the content I'm consuming. So I like their comics, and I did my own fan comic, and they gave me feedback, and they featured it in their art reel in their show. So there's always, dude.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
An amazing interaction, but it's a positive community. And oh, Mark, you're so right. Oh no, there he goes.
I can't. The thing is, Mark knows too much about me. Like, we can't even have normal conversations anymore. It's just like
He's got a dossier, a running dossier on everybody. Like kind of like Batman. So
That's what you get for opening up to somebody. You get all the all the bullcrap
I
that
think we
comes
all
with
saw
it.
that.
but he also opens up to you. So it's
That's
kind
very
of
true. Yeah.
it's
No,
two-way street.
I know a lot about him as well. So yeah.
So
But yeah, that's interesting. Oh, that last comment. Oh no, I know that. Don't even, DJ. Don't even. I feel like I'm an infiltrator over there, trying to like talk some sense into the dude through nothing. He is who he is. So
Yeah.
just ignore that kind of stuff. Like it's so easy just to avoid it because there's no advertising out there for it anyways. And if it is, it's bad press. Like what's the last press that you saw for comic related stuff? Mine was Batgirl gets canceled.
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. I was looking at the chat. I don't know. I don't remember who said it because it went by really fast for my mind, my feeble mind.
Uh-huh.
But someone said that I think it was DJ. Comics are such a niche market.
Yeah.
That, and maybe they don't want to advertise it anymore. I don't know.
I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's weird because you have so much money in the movie aspect. You would figure that it would trigger somebody to want to find the origin of that.
Yep. They pull the ideas for this billion-dollar industry from the funny books, and like they are constantly. I have a friend that works. Okay, this is gonna be like third person. One of my close friends' brothers works for Netflix, who is actually my coworker at the comic shop. And so he was always pitching. We would just sit around and read comic books and then pitch ideas to his brother, and then they would be pitched to Netflix.
Wow.
Like
Nice.
that's how they're sourcing information from. And we're like, oh, this comic's really good. I'm really liking this book called Silver Coin. So we pitch it to my friend's brother, and he literally invites the creators to freaking Netflix and has like meetings with them. Like he, especially with Berserker. So he's constantly meeting with Matt Kent and Keanu Reeves with developing their Netflix adaptation. So,
and I'll tell you, I give you a point that makes Marcus's comment true. Like if you get into they promote certain movie, Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson or something like that.
Yeah,
something that's not mainstream Marvel. It will always be 2/3 of the way through the trailer. They'll say, based on the graphic novel.
Correct.
They'll never say based on the comic book.
No.
The graphic novel most of the time comes after. So,
and it's not really a graphic novel. What it's based on. It's based on the movie, based on the manga, and the manga is not a graphic novel. It's a manga that's first and foremost episodic, weekly, and then it's collected in a trade paperback. So. But there's some bullshit snub term that we use sometimes that is graphic novel for something that is not conceived as a graphic novel, because there are projects that are conceived as graphic novels, but there are some things that are not. But the graphic novel term, it basically lends or gives gives a sense of highbrow authenticity to it, which is bullshit, of course.
Yeah. Did Flo ever answer the question about Batman? Because I do think I know the answer. Because they came out with saying that the Batman was based off of Long Halloween. She said that. There's three series that it was based on, and then they re-released the series.
And the promotional comic book was that cover with the Long Halloween that I got when I went to see the movie.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is true. You can't just go in, especially with something like X-Men, you can't just pick that up and get caught up.
Yeah. That's the beauty in this case. of graphic novels. And I'm flipping like a pancake in this instance, but graphic novels have that appeal. They begin and they end. You know, you have I don't know, 100 pages, 50, if sometimes even, or 200 pages of a self-contained story, and you are as if in a movie with no sequels in mind. You are introduced to the characters, you're introduced to the story, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that's it. And that's the beauty of a graphic novel, that the floppies, the weeklies, they don't have it. You have to be up to date with so many continuity shit that sometimes it's overwhelming. For X-Men, for example, it's crazy, man.
Well, how do you keep up with all that too?
I think
You
every
spend a
now
lot
and
of
again,
money?
I'll see they'll put out these animated comic panels or something like that to promote the upcoming storylines. I think I've seen it once or twice for X-Men,
Yeah,
but that's about it.
that's fair. I mean, I wish there was more, like more stuff like that. Like I think that's really cool, Nick, that it exists. But like, why can't there be more of that?
Yeah,
There's so
but
much
they're not
creativity
going
out
to. They are already making the money they want to make with the comics. They want to make more money out of bigger or more expensive projects because they are banking on that project is going to give me more money than these funny books.
Okay.
You know, that's why they invest like $70 million on a Batgirl movie, and then they don't fucking release it. Sometimes I think that this could have, sometimes I see movies, but this is very personal, you know, but sometimes I see movies that I think this would have been a better comic than it is a movie. Because
you can see them trying to. Okay.
Yeah, I tolerate things in comic book form that I don't tolerate in movies. You know, there are some tropes of the format there's some cheesy things that I can tolerate in a sci-fi space opera comic book that I'm not gonna tolerate in Star Wars, for example.
Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine, but it's not even just comic books. Like it goes into like actual novels. Like how many people that read the Harry Potter novels or the Lord of the Rings novels or 50 Shades of Grey just hated the movies. Like it could be anything. It could be any fandom. I love that there's crossover where I can see a visual adaptation of something that I enjoyed the heck out of reading when it comes to like novel form. And then comic books, you get to see the action is depicted in front of you, but then you also get to see it like with live action, turning something into something that's like more relatable, I guess, because comic books are kind of like fantasy in its own. So
well, do you think that the whole digital aspect of things and how people always say for quite some time now that print's going to be a dead media, that they don't want to just spend any more money to put 2 extra pages in a book?
Yeah, I think they said the same about radio when television came up.
I mean, there's always the criticisms. I mean, there was a point where nobody believed in Netflix, and I was exchanging games at my mailbox. Like I would have video games come in, I'd play it and send it back, and they're like, "Oh, like this is our business model," and then it just completely blew out of proportion. I think that digital is the future, and complete stories in the forms of like with what Ignacio was saying, graphic novels and like complete stories are where things are going to.
See, and Flo brings up a good point too. Like you'll see throughout different shows, Marvel will place like the QR code or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they did Moon Knight for, Werewolf by Night. And I think what Marvel Unlimited does is like when they have a project coming up, they'll spotlight, a certain character. Well, we all know it's going to be the character that they're going to be pushing for the next show. So
Absolutely.
Been a pleasure.
And I'm not necessarily complaining. It's more of an observation.
Mm.
And when I create my comic book, I'm going to be providing a solution. Like I have, we're working on an animated short for the comic book that I'm coming out with. And we also have like more immersion where there's going to be like an actual community discussion and stuff like that. And there's going to be a QR code, much like We Live, for music to listen to while you read it. And it's I love the blending of the mediums, and I wish that people would do it more often than not.
See, and what's weird, I'm trying to remember now too, at what point all of the external companies left advertising in comics. You don't see Hostess,
I know,
putting a hook
yeah.
out there, or
There's no like an orthodontist advertisement.
90-pound weaklings can learn how to get the sand stop being kicked in their face. That stuff stopped. And I would guess late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I mean I'd say
I
that's
don't
fair.
know.
That's gotta
I'm
be
just trying to think about, maybe Kyle is too young for this, and I'm in Argentina, so maybe I'm out of the loop. But Nick, do you remember maybe DC doing some advertisement for the death of Superman, for example? A huge event like that?
I think when it came to that, I think the other printed media, it was always in the news or the newspaper, like something so monumental like that always hits the mainstream media. And I
Okay.
think that the company itself, like DC, didn't push that. In this case, we have the first openly gay Spider-Man coming up in
Uh-huh.
Edge of Spider-Verse 5, and I didn't hear about it in Marvel. I read about it on Yahoo or
Cool.
Huffington, one of those two.
Yeah, I mean that should be the future, anyways. Is digital marketing of it.
Mhm.
Like show up in somebody's news feed, like as they're scrolling through. Like I think that's well use of their time.
I think nowadays it's like Nick said just now. They don't need to advertise anything. They just need to be like, give the news sites enough of a seed, a pinch of a story,
Okay.
for them to give them free publicity, free advertisement. The first openly gay Spider-Man, it's, I mean, with all the gay characters that Marvel has, having one that has a Spider-Man suit, or, I mean, it's not a key ingredient. I think, I haven't read it, but I don't think it's a key ingredient to the story. It's fine, it's excellent that they include gay Spider-Man, but I think the news articles maybe are not focusing on that. Maybe they want the click, you know?
Oh yeah.
So there's a way of doing advertisement in the mainstream media, and then
Correct.
there's what you are talking about now, Kyle. There's a way, because there is,
Yes.
of doing advertisement for indie comics. And I mean,
Yeah.
not indie publishers, indie creators like you, that you're funding your own comic, and you're part of a community. And if you want to take one nugget of wisdom from me,
Yes.
maybe you want to, if you want, I know I'm going to say something that not a lot of people are going to agree, but maybe you want to participate in the Twitter comic community. I have been blessed with a lot of good interactions there, mostly good interactions. I think I have never had a bad interaction up until recently, that I found out someone blocked me, someone who I hadn't had an interaction ever. So that's my only bad interaction in almost 10 years of Twitter usage.
Oh, absolutely.
And also there's a lot of Discord servers in
Okay.
which you can discuss and promote your indie creation.
I'm part of 5 different discords that are just like basically about little niche communities based around certain comic book series. Like it's there, and then there's fan art that comes out of that too, and it's such a good, like, I just don't like Twitter, Ignacio. I understand what you're saying. I'm just like not a
I
big
understand
Twitter
what you
fan.
say. I mean, it's a tool.
Yeah, it is.
I
And
mean,
with an audience, and going back to
Yeah.
advertising, you need to reach out to those audiences. DJ made a good point about, like, from business perspective, it costs money to advertise. And I'm like, but I think that they're like almost allergic to money in some aspects because they're not doing anything to promote their product, and it either just sits there or goes unnoticed. Like, you can't alienate your fans like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to buy the book anyway. You know what I mean? It's like people who pick up Superman are going to pick up the death of Superman. People in the LCS are going to hear about it through that network.
Yeah.
And they can pretty much get something shocking like that for free advertising from the mainstream media. So they don't have to put out an ad, I think.
Now, Nick, how many different LCSs do you go to? Comic shops. How many different comic shops do you go to on like a
we knew
somewhat regular basis?
I'd say 3 on a regular basis.
3? And how, of those 3, how many do you think are making a killer profit or versus not a killer profit, might be struggling? Where do you think they are from a business perspective?
It's funny because I see one doing well, I see one in the middle, and one I see is floundering.
Okay. We lost a
what
lot
is
of
your-
comic shops. Go ahead,
No,
Ignacio.
wait. I want to go deeper on what Nick just said.
Cool.
As a longtime comic fan and having seen New York LCS, Texas, and some other things, some other places, probably, what's your assessment to that difference between the shops?
Well, it's funny because the one I think is floundering is, and they deal with more higher end things.
Okay.
Like they're likely to have 2 or 3 copies of 181, in a higher grade and near mid grade.
Uh-huh.
But for the weekly stuff, I barely can get cover A's of some of the things that I just want, like main titles.
Yeah.
So I think those huge sales are keeping them afloat, and it's definitely not the weekly thing that's keeping them busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they could be making more money if they didn't have a shop and they sold those things on eBay.
Yeah, and that's
Maybe.
primarily their business. Like the guy who owns that store has been a mainstay in a lot of the larger comic book transactions that you've heard of.
Oh,
Like he's got a Tech 27 9.6. He's got an Action Comics 1.
oh shit. Okay.
He's helped Nicolas Cage sell his comic collection when it was time, way back when. And he just, I guess, as an afterthought, made a brick and mortar within the past year or so.
Why?
We were in a big boom. I mean, for a while, for a good year and a half, like people were paying outrageous prices.
Oh yeah, I know a couple people that literally were just collectors and then started brick and mortar because of that, and then they basically just sell wall books all day.
Yeah.
But in a sense, that's kind of hard to sustain because there's
not a lot of people are going to go in and drop 10 or 15K on a book.
Yeah, it's. I always looked, when I first got into comics, I always looked at it as really cheap art because I started collecting art first, and art prints are like $10 to $20, and you're telling me that I can go in and buy a $5 piece of art and get a story with it? I thought it was awesome. And then I spent $20,000 and amassed a huge thing, fell way behind in reading, and realized that the love that I had for it when I started was kind of diminished because I didn't have time. And that's where Time Traveler came from, my name.
Yeah, and I think being
But your comic is about a promiscuous time traveler, isn't it?
No, time traveler, yes.
Okay.
But promiscuous.
could
Well,
be.
you might want to add a little bit of kinky stuff, or not even kinky, some not suited for work stuff, because those comics are selling like hot bread on Kickstarter.
Oh, absolutely. The two leads in the. No, I'm not going to reveal anything. I can't say anything.
Well, even for like
Sorry.
doing the FOC every week, you see 900 covers of sexy women thing, you know. So
Yeah.
It's so hard to talk about the comic, though.
There's a creator. I'm going to save you here, Kyle. There's a creator called Pat Shand that he's basically a king of Kickstarter, you know, and he has like 20 something, I think 26 successful campaigns.
Wow.
He has multiple series going on. He has he has an ongoing, he has some mini series, and recently he released a sexy book he did with his writing with his wife as a partner and with an artist, I don't remember the name now, called Cheeky. There's some truth to that track. So, and what I know about having read some of his comics about Pat is he's a really good writer, you know?
Yeah.
So he's not giving you only TNA.
Yeah.
But he released this TNA book, basically, or TNA-based book called Cheeky, like, I don't know, like a month ago, and he broke 100K.
100K?
Yeah.
That's nuts. And they take, what is it, 3%, right? And then
10%.
10%? And then
Kickstarter takes 10%.
And then it's another 10% for
credit card processing.
Card transactions, yeah.
Yeah. But what you need to understand is that Pat Shand has a name, has a reputation. He delivers. He has 26 successful Kickstarter. He has an ongoing. He publishes via Kickstarter only. I think he recently signed with Scout. I don't remember. I don't know exactly, so don't take my word on that. But he has been building up his brand on Kickstarter and on Zenescope, on other publishers, but mainly on Kickstarter, his own brand. And he now is seeing a huge increase in a book because maybe he went with what the people want. And people want, and I think Kickstarter now allows it, but I think before it's this Kickstarter allowing TNA, it's kind of new, apparently. I don't know a lot about it. But I mean, sometimes you need to listen to the readers also. Besides putting your story out there, maybe you can give the readers a little bit of what they want and tease them a little bit with some TNA.
Right. Well, and speaking of a good segue, let's get to Ignacio's sexy suggestion this week.
Chances are a new Kickstarter by Matt Garby. Matt Garby is a UK creator that since I knew Kyle was here to talk about his comic too, I wanted to show Kyle and whoever is in the chat that is curious about creating comics independently, or has a kid or has a friend that wants to create a comic. Back Matt Garby's comic, because he's a really good storyteller, a really good writer, and he's committed to make his comics independently with the best art possible. And he basically does the same that you do, Kyle. He upfronts the money for the production, And then when the comic is ready, Travis Gibb does this too. When the comic is ready, then they do the crowdfunding campaign to cover the printing cost because the comic is already done.
That's kind of smart because my printing bill is looking like it's going to be about right now. It was before the pandemic. It was quoted at like 9,000. Now it's about to be 15,000.
And how do you know what to print, Kyle? You don't really know how many books you need to print.
Yeah, I just did like a random number basically.
Yeah, and that's not good. This is the way. Matt Garvey knows, and Travis Gibb knows. They basically, and the thing that I wanted to make light in here is that Matt Garvey has a YouTube channel called Matt Garvey, and he has a whole series of videos about making comics independently. And he gives you the good, the bad, and the ugly about how he creates, about his experience, and about what to do and what not to do, what he did good, what he did wrong. And basically, it's a sweet dude that is giving his all to the comics he makes, and he shares it with you. And basically, I think one of his latest videos talked about this comic and how he basically did it 3 times before he reached the point in which he can publish it now.
Yep.
Because
I watched that video where he talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's commitment to the medium, to the craft, to your own story. And, well, he shares everything he does.
I like Matt Gravy a little bit better there, Nick.
It's lunchtime. I can't help it.
Matt Gravy. Talking about your comic books and also buying you lunch.
All right.
So basically, this book is about a dude. Don't need to put it again on screen, Nick. Thanks. But this dude that is lucky. Basically, he was born with luck, and everything he bets on, every competition he gets in, he wins.
But what's the
thing is he's running blindfolded into traffic. In a race, blindfolded into traffic. That's how the comic starts.
Okay. Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. If you go onto the site, it'll give you the first couple pages, and you see how well he fares with running into traffic.
Perfect. Hey, I didn't even notice this, but I saw that Nick had his the splash art for this thing, and you could read the top on his when he's sitting there, and then you could read the bottom on mine.
Perfectly balanced.
Synergy.
No, I totally agree. I asked a question to the chat, and only one person responded because I knew the answer before I even asked it. Not much of us in the community support like Kickstarter, GoFundMe. There's another site that comes out. Like, how many people have a Substack account? Which is a dying kind of
I have a
anyways.
Substack account. I have my crowdfunder. I have there's a new one that I cannot ever remember.
I had it written down too, and I freaking lost the paper that I had.
But
they just came out.
I had to stop, man, because basically, when you back a lot of projects on Kickstarter, you become a super backer with time. Yeah. But basically, I become a super backer in a month. So I have spent more money, and I'm only backing digital because I cannot cover the expenses for shipping, like $20 for a $5 book, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm backing digital. And it basically killed me.
And that's the story with a lot of this. Like, I haven't been to my local comic shop since I quit 3 months ago.
Oh.
And that's the reason I wanted to talk about advertising. I know nothing. I know nothing of the new comics because I don't see it anywhere. The only way I see it is I log on to YouTube and I log on to Instagram and people are talking about the books, but it's people talking about the books. Or somebody has like a new comic book day show or like that kind of aspect. That's why I'm so baffled that I can just cold turkey stop And
You will never know about comic books again.
yeah, exactly, because nothing is bringing me back into. Finally, the black line went away. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, I just
on
thought
the
that was
bright
interesting.
side, on the bright side, we could say it's an easy addiction to quit.
Absolutely, because you just stop buying and then you start selling. So,
And
because
that's
you got to
it.
do something with all your stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I love it for the art and the storytelling and the escapism, and I'm always gonna love it for that.
And you know,
Well,
what's
in
so-
my experience, sorry, Nick, go.
Yeah,
the word of mouth is so effective if you're in the community.
Yeah.
yes,
You know,
that's
you
a
just-
great point.
You depend on, if somebody you know and trust says something is good, you'll automatically give it a shot.
Yep, absolutely.
Dude,
What
that's
were you gonna say,
exactly what
Nasser?
I was going to say. Exactly what Nick said, but
Perfect.
from the artist's point of view.
Okay.
Because since I started taking part of this YouTube community and more of an active part in the Twitter creator groups, I just only made, Killaroo and Breakneck have been published. But
Okay.
with only those two and positive interactions in the community, I got
Yeah.
some amazing jobs. Just because word of mouth, I have participated in other anthologies like the Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, the Kaiju Mania.
Yeah.
But that's because I was in the Travis Gibbs YouTube channel commenting on his live streams.
That's
And he
nuts.
eventually, we were sharing memes on the Comic Burrito Discord. And eventually he said, "Hey, we should do something together." And that's how I ended working with Brian Hawkins, because Travis told me, "Hey, you want to do this epilogue for the anthology with Brian Hawkins?" And that's word of mouth. There's no advertisement for Ignacio Di Meglio. There's no advertisement for Killaroo, unless you are part of the community.
Correct. Yeah, I have no clue how to spell your name. It's like
So let's see.
But-
if I can figure it out here. Hold on.
oh, there we go.
I had to put it myself because Scout wouldn't put it.
Fair. You'll be on the inside at least, right? Or did they? Yeah. Okay. Hey, Bocan Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting observation, and that was the basis behind it. Is because I have no clue what's going on anymore, and it's because I got busy, and I feel like a lot of people can just get busy and have no clue what's going on, and not be caught up on the day-to-day aspect, because there's a deep well of content, because we hardly touched on like crowdfunding and stuff like that. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of campaigns.
Yes.
Of just that are just there, and they're amazing. There's some really good ones. There's some wonky ones. But it's so crazy how much we call ourselves a niche community, but we're like a collection of different niche communities. Like, you have your friends that you talk to, but then there's another friend group that's off to the side, and they do the same thing that we do. It's just different. And then the pandemic kind of made everything kind of mesh, because everybody had to go online.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, you're here? Oh, you're here? And to the point of where, like, I walked into a room and I knew everybody in the room, but I only knew their screen names. And it was wild.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yo, what's up? And you say their names. It's like, oh, it's Promiscuous Time Traveler. I'm like, yo, my name is Kyle. Like, nice to meet you.
No, you're the Promiscuous Time Traveler.
Exactly, but I'm fine. I'm fine with that, because that's what you set, and that's why it's so hard to brand change, because you have to do that from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
chose this. This is my
But now-
name. This is my brand.
But like, I had to separate the two. When I first started, I went by Kyle Kwasnick.
Yeah, I know.
And then personal life just like didn't mesh well with that, so I had to create like another identity, and did something
Well,
that I thought was
and
fun.
I guess having your identity stolen will makes you a little bit apprehensive.
I still haven't sorted that out too. I'm still working on getting that figured out, which is nuts.
Yeah, and it's so weird because it's like I said, within the community, or if you're buying comic books already, it doesn't take much to keep the ball rolling. You see a cool cover, you've never bought that comic before, you buy it. You know, if somebody
You're
else
in the
says
shop
something-
already.
Yep.
Okay, cool. What's up, aggressively? I really enjoy the things he has to say. And then he trolls me with this. Jesus. But yeah, I mean,
success is. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say his first campaign was free. He gave it out for free. Yeah.
That's a success because the measure of his success is reaching out to people. Because as a storyteller, that's what you want.
Yep.
Or as an artist, that's what you want. You want to reach out to people, and you want them to basically like what you did. It's basically what happens to me. That's why when I was doing Kiluru, I was offering a small PDF of the black and white pages to everyone who wanted to see, because I want more people to see it. And that sharing of myself, that putting myself out there and sharing what I do, basically created an enough positive feedback that gave me a sort of platform for me to stand on and reach for bigger things. But basically, when you're an indie creator, you are your own everything, your own accountant, your own advertisement company, your own everything. So you might want to start to get savvy with some other things that you don't want to know, or you don't want to do, or that you will end up needing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're creating your own book, when's the last time that you thought about shipping and the intricacies that come in with shipping and packing and distributing what you're actually making? Are you reaching out to shops? Is it a physical thing? That's why I agree with what you said with backing digital ones, because they send you an email and then you have it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with the big companies is that they already have that circus running.
Yeah.
So they don't need to think about that. As a matter of fact, they need to keep printing books because they already have the circus running. They already have the printers running. They cannot stop the printers.
Nope.
So they need to keep printing books. Just keep them rolling. We don't care what's in the books, basically.
They have a department for distribution. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in for the profit. Even more so now that they cut ties with Diamond. Now that they cut with Diamond, they need to keep the ball rolling because they have new deals that they need to stand by for.
Well, I think they're happy with the little dribs and drabs they get from the movies. The people interested in the movies, and they want to find out or read about more. Or, when they have the gay Spider-Man coming out, whichever people really enjoy reading that book, they'll take the dribs and drabs of the people who start buying printed stuff then too. So.
Yeah. I mean, going back to, we've talked about Fortnite and Batman and Berserker that literally brought people to comic book stores for the first time. And when you go into a store and you realize how much diversity there is in there, it's kind of a wonderland, and it's easy to get sucked in and blow your wad instantly. Same with Ignacio backing a bunch of campaigns. It's an addiction, but it's more of a healthy addiction because you're supporting creators and you're being immersed into content and communities, and I don't know, it's a search for meaning, and it's very gratifying.
Yeah, and what you said right there, Kyle, the inclusion and the amount there is. It's one of the most beautiful things about comics that does not get advertised. And that's one of the main issues I could have with not advertising comics, because I don't really care if you do advertisement for, I don't know, the new Batman series done by blah blah blah. No, but if
Yeah.
you promote comics as a safe space for people to find what they would like to enjoy, what they enjoy in life, to find something they feel, I don't know, moved by, you know, that's the beauty of comics. You can have anything inside the pages of a comic book, because at some level anyone can do a comic.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to be a great artist, you don't have to be a great writer. You
No,
can
not
do a
at all.
comic book and go to a Kinko's, if that's even a place anymore, and basically do copies of a fanzine and give it
Yeah.
out for free in a concert.
Blow it
That's
up and
always has been the case.
yeah, spread it around. That's at 1 hour we freaking made it to where I wanted to be with this conversation. I brought it up as a topic, as a complaint, but it's only because I wish that they would use the advertising to promote what's beautiful in this community and within this medium, in a sense. So I love what you said.
Kind of like a PSA, but as there are good things, there are bad things, because
Yeah, absolutely.
you found out today about Comicsgate and you didn't know about it.
I know,
And
isn't
they
that
are
crappy?
out there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is what it is. It's
Right.
the world we live in. It's
Yep.
different opinions, and you need to be aware of them, because at some level we need to know they exist.
Yeah.
Because
I don't get why
sometimes
they
you
didn't
don't
reach
really
out to me,
know.
Sorry.
Because the deal is you get hooked by their spiel,
Yeah.
and you feel identified by their hatred towards the current comic climate. And
At the KKK.
pretty much. And then you give them their money for it, so they can make their books based on things that they think should be in comics today.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of people that don't understand and complain about the X-Men being political. The X-Men was always a political book, because they deal
Absolutely.
with racism, and from day one, mutants
Comics-
were ostracized.
Comics have
So
always
the-
been political.
But they used to do it with 15,000 less words per issue, Ignacio. See, I think we all know the strength of the wheel that keeps the comic book stuff turning.
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to say, hey, I got a little nephew who might be interested in that. Hey, I got a little kid down the street who's into horror comics now that just they know I know about comic books, so they come ask me. I think it's our responsibility to push that wheel a little bit forward and hopefully
Absolutely.
them to catch on later on. And I think that's the advertisement the comic book industry depends on.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's how I started. When I was 6, my cousin gave me an Asterix and Obelix book, and that changed my mind.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, it's still a printed medium, still doing the same thing that it did. So why would they change anything? Don't fix it if it's not broken. I just appreciate the transition that's happening. Like, I'm fully embracing that we're shifting towards digital. I'm absolutely.
I wish I found another hobby. I
Yeah,
wish.
yeah, because you're surrounded by it, man.
Nick, you can always quit anytime you want. Like cigarettes, like sugar, like ice cream. You can quit anytime you want.
Yeah,
You
look
just
at me.
sell
Look
all
at
your
me, man.
bullshit.
I
That's
can't.
all.
I can't
That's-
quit you, baby.
That's all I'm doing, man. Is
But that's the thing is, like, even from when I was younger, I've always loved to read.
got it.
But for me to take time out and read Lord of the Rings, that's a big investment. You know what I mean? I want to take
It's like 30 hours.
need 7 minutes, to just see what's going on in Spidey's life right now, and then that ties me to my childhood, and maybe it's some cool art too. So
The nostalgia
Yeah.
factor definitely plays a part.
Yep.
So, Kyle, let me warn you.
Yes.
Warning. No good comics were harm in this video. Uh, let me warn you about this. Once you
Yes.
become a creator, it's extremely harder to get comics because the satisfaction you get when people react to your creation, it's so rewarding that it's gonna get tricky. Beware.
Interesting. Okay, that's a good man. Okay, cool.
Because
I mean-
one thing is collecting something someone else did, and
Yeah.
another thing is getting feedback from something you created and
Yeah.
someone enjoyed.
Case in point. The only by the horns thing I had was this poster. So, but I love that I was a part of that, man, and that's advertising in itself.
Exactly, you did.
I advertised this man. So no, I'm kidding. No, I advertised something that I loved, and it led to uh, a relationship to be formed and future projects to be made. I'm
Indeed.
That's awesome. Who's the third weirdo guy?
Nerd Lord Winder. I'm pushing for that. I don't know if it works, but I'm pushing for that. Nerd Lord Winder. It's maybe a tongue twister, but
See, or we'll just check out his cranky comic reviews, and we'll see what's worth reading these days.
I really like Taylor's.
Taylor fills all my holes.
I agree most of the times with Taylor, but I'm not as cranky as him.
Yeah, I would say that I understand where he feels on certain things. I just don't feel as passionately towards the negativity towards certain books.
I don't think you'll stick either.
Fair.
All right, so I think we're at the point where this conversation actually could go on for a lot longer. I mean, it took us an hour to get.
Indeed.
We're at a transition point, yeah. So it's up to you.
I mean, we could go on, but maybe we should leave them wanting for more. Always do that, and also we could always have you back again. It's a pleasure, and
Yeah.
so the doors are open. If you want to add a fourth person to the panel, Taylor, you are always invited. I mean, everyone is invited. So, want to join us? Want to fill some hole with us? Step up, bitches.
This is the other thing that the other hole that I wish to fill.
Okay.
Right? Not everybody is comfortable on camera. My thing is anybody who hasn't done it before, and I'll say it then. I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Come out, give it a try. This is a safe space for the most part. It is when you start getting made fun of that you really have arrived and people accept you. But
yes, indeed,
we're more than welcome in the beginning. So if you want to come on the show, if you have a topic that you want to discuss, much like Kyle did, please reach out to either Ignacio and I. If you got the time, we got the place for you. So
for sure, and you don't even have to appear in camera. You can always talk and have the camera off, and we can still hear you. So
you can people show just their hands.
Yeah, I mean,
so maybe the elbows.
Oh, maybe you have a thing for tootsies also.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? I forgot about this, but well, maybe we can talk about that next time. There's some space racism going on.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Oh, it's the same bullshit, man.
Is this?
I thought that was over.
No, it's never over.
Never. Damn it.
Just when you thought it was done,
they pull you back in with their bullshit.
It rears its ugly head again. I think we're getting closer and closer. Episode 21 now in the books. It's getting But Kyle, do you have anything?
Kyle, thank you very much.
You have anything you want to promote that may be offered for a limited time only?
Oh, you want me to do that? Yeah, sure, man.
Bring it on.
I'm doing something really stupid. I'm doing a mystery box where you have to fill out a survey. I should It's a 10. Okay, last time I promoted this, people were like, dude, I don't have time for this, man. Like, it's 10 questions. It's 10 questions, and one of the questions is like, how much do you want your box to be worth? But
that's good.
yeah, and one of them is, who the heck are you? Because this is on SurveyMonkey. I need to know how I can reach out to you. Like, that's one of the questions. What's that?
It's a pertinent question.
It's a very important question. So, and I'm guaranteeing that I double your money. And I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to do. I've already sold 6 as of right now.
Nice.
I haven't set a number, but I got to come up with like $3,000 worth of books because people are setting like crazy prices. But yeah. I'm not even anyways, I should have put it in the private chat. I posted the link, but you're going to have to like copy and paste it.
No, I can add it afterwards too into the.
Okay, cool. So Nick will post the link. It's just a SurveyMonkey thing. Understand that my collection's mostly modern. I do have some surprises, and they're mainly raw books. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I want to get to know you and then build a mystery box for you and surprise the shit out of you, so that you're not just opening like, I don't really care about that or stuff like that. So the questions are designed to get what you
at
like.
least if it's a cheap book, it will make you laugh, like receiving a Turok #1.
So,
I got a bunch of those.
So maybe,
yeah, I know.
Maybe you want to do a show with this guy.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a smart idea.
I think I'm gonna put this out there. 2 things before we go. One, we should have done this at the beginning. Every promo thing we need to do at the beginning, like Ryan Sickler does on the Honeydew podcast. First, promote what you have, and then we will
have the giggles. Okay, got
exactly.
it. The giggles come after.
Exactly. And then the other thing, it's Taylor Winder. I'm going to say this. Maybe you want this or not, but since the Saturday banter has moved to a limbo because Chip cannot do it anymore. I'm posting out there that maybe Taylor Winder could do it because you're about to reach 1,000. So you might want to up your view time.
I would do it, but I play video games. I play way too many video games.
No, I'm not talking to you, Kyle, now. I'm talking to
Taylor. Hey, Taylor.
But yeah,
wait,
that's my idea.
Ignacio, what's his name?
Nerd Lord Winder.
Okay. I didn't know who Taylor was. Okay. I was trying to
Tyler.
force it.
Thank you for the support, Kyle.
Just make it forced genuineness. I don't know what the word is.
Spanish. I'm just a girl.
And I'm not a middle-aged person from Argentina, correct? So no. I don't understand what DC did for the advertisements of Death of Superman.
Right. Don't cry for me, okay?
Sorry.
I will do the promotion.
You need to stop us, Nick.
I know it's gonna get worse.
For Ignacio's conversation with TM Nerdy that went live yesterday, you'll also have a very special appearance, an extended appearance by Mini Iggy.
Nice.
Very, very enjoyable. Kyle, the anti-slab guy, has a slab around.
This is how you advertise. Isn't it fun? Make money selling American seeds.
And I always look to see if I knew somebody in the panel. Those or the Dr. J cartoons. I love those. But they're gone now.
Oh.
You know what's not gone? Space racism.
Yeah. We're going to have to talk about it.
We're going to have to get a panel of many raids, creases, and colors. And
yeah, space racism is a very big hole that needs to be filled.
Yes, and plastered shut.
Yeah. We need to
but
see
Alan,
the world.
Hey,
Alan. Hello, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.
Yep. Check out Ignacio's conversation with TM on TM's channel. Also, a very good source for Kickstarters. TM Nerdy is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be doing the Friday FOC.
Oh, and talk about Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. That's right. Sunday is
Yeah.
the community garage sale.
Can I talk about it? Actually, I'd rather talk about it.
Sure, go ahead.
I almost bought everything that they sold on Sunday. I almost bought everything. The deals were so crazy. These guys are literally madmen. There was no I didn't even it didn't break my bank. It didn't do anything. It was just like these books were like, go there. Stop me from buying the books. That was wild. That was so wild. The deals were amazing. Sunday garage sale on Nick's channel. If you want to sell, reach out to him. If you have something to sell, reach out to him. But what the heck? That panel was crazy last week.
10 a.m. Eastern. Thank you, sir. If you want to come by, whatever you have to sell, if you have to sell remotes for your ceiling fan.
Cool.
Okay.
Maybe someone needs it.
If you don't have anything to sell or you're just awake waiting for the pancakes to be made, come hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so crazy though. Jeez, man.
Did you get that package, by the way?
No, not yet.
All right, should be coming.
It says delivery today, so we're good.
All right. Thanks to the chat. We love you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Any topics that you want to discuss, come on out. Give me Iggy and I a shout.
I only love myself.
Okay. Well, you
And
got to
that's-
start there for sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What
If you
wood
have,
paneling? Okay.
you know, sure. Well, I'll give you 2 minutes to sell wood paneling. I may need some also.
There you go.
We're
Things
all-
are happening already.
We're all about filling holes here, and there may be a wood paneling hole we need to fill. But
See you Sunday, K-pop. Selling your wood paneling.
Bring it on now.
yeah, if you can deal with my nonsense and how I run the show, you can sell anything you want. But
Yeah, that's easy.
bye for now. Check out the outro. We'll see you guys later.
Bye
I
bye.
already saw it. Let me see it. Oh shit! Oh, y'all see that?
So, Tyler, do you want to build a snowman to plow away all night? It doesn't have to be a snowman. It can be me.
I'll be clipping that too.